Hello guys, welcome back to Spill the Bubble Tea podcast. This is the After Dark episode, which we recap our main episode over the podcast. And today we have Andrea, James Louis, and Moi, Adam Lee, and cheers.
Cheers! Today we're going to be
yes.
recapping the intellectual property conversation.
You wonder why I don't have a bloody bubble tea?
Yeah.
Because number one, I am in Malta. Yes, this is our theme now. Every time we film something, we're in different location. Because
This has been our thing for a long time. I'm in Toronto right now. I am back at my parents' place. I filmed another episode here, except I was facing the other direction. So now you get to see this direction, where my mom's obsessed with Shar-Peis, because we had Shar-Peis growing up. So if you can see down in the corner here, this is like a little figurine. And we had a black Shar-Pei, and so my dad bought that for my mom to...
You
like,
actually...
Hey. It's exactly like our baby when we were growing up.
Oh my god!
Like little baby licorice.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
This is the balcony. This is another chair right here. No, and there's a bloody crane over there. No, I am in Malta doing a pole camp. So I don't really have bubble tea. I mean, like they are bubble teas here, but they're not good. And I left my teacups in the studio, so here I am drinking water. Also, it's very hot right here. So
It's okay.
Stay hydrated, everyone.
Also a fraud. I'm drinking orange juice mixed with water out of one of these reusable cups that my mom has, because I think my mom likes to drink out of straws. So she's actually got a bunch of these,
Oh, perfect.
reusable cup style things. And also, it's summer here. It's really hot outside. So I've actually got the curtain. Ooh, the light is kind of nice there.
I want to
Maybe I
show
should
everybody
tuck
the
that
view.
curtain.
Wow. Okay, there you go. Back to me.
Love
my
it.
face.
Love it.
So, let's
Doing
go,
your face.
Today, we are recapping intellectual property.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, I think when we first released this podcast, we launched really, really strong. And I think because our first episode was about money, it was something that really everybody could get behind. And we had like a huge like surge of listenership and followers and stuff like that. And we're coming up on, I think it's been 10 months now that we've been doing this podcast. And there's been kind of a steady decline in listenership and in interaction. And I have heard from some of our listeners that they listen while they're driving places, so they can't actually like send us messages or respond in a really interactive way because they're driving, and that's so fine. But I find that some of the feedback and the interaction that we've been receiving, it's in decline, with the exception of like Dan Rosen, who leaves troll comments on our promo videos. But I didn't actually hear anybody's thoughts or feelings on the intellectual property conversation.
That's okay. We
maybe
still have a
it's-
lot of thought about it, so we can just
You have more
continue.
thoughts to share about it.
We
Well,
always have more thoughts.
Did you get any feedback about it? Because I think I've been so tunnel vision focused on creating my Fringe show that everything outside of it has started to like just fade into the background. And something that's been
That's
happening
life.
as well. It really is. It is life. Do you find as well that when you get busy, everything gets busy all at the same time? Because I thought, I've got this Fringe
Yeah.
show, and I'm going to be able to focus
Literally.
on the Fringe show. But then I just signed on to do a 10-day acting program in Hollywood.
Oh my god.
I'm going to do a couple shows for La Folie and the Melbourne Fringe. I just applied for another like aerial show in Brisbane. I had to decline Australian Pole Art Championships, which is a real bummer because I did that comp
no.
last year and I love it, but it conflicts with Melbourne Fringe.
Right.
And I find there's just like so much stuff going on that like we almost couldn't even book in this time
For
to
this
do
one,
our
yeah.
After Dark. Like, oh,
Well,
I
yeah, it is crazy. Like what you just said, it literally just happened to me 2 days ago because I'm, working on this pole cam right now, and there's just so many like incoming messages of like work, just like, we need this. Can I do this? Can I do this with you? Can I do private with you? Just like blah blah blah. I'm like, where is this all coming from? But I guess that's what we wanted. We wished for it, so it's all coming to us. Finally,
be careful
we
what you wish
manifested it.
for. Yeah.
Exactly. So we just have to suck it up and get it done and make that
Oh,
money.
actually, the other thing is, because I was out with you when Sergio Louise Anderson contacted me about the Beginner Pole Dance Summit, and she contacted you as
Hmm.
well, right?
Yes.
So
So we'll be on
I
that.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this because I've been a huge fan of Sergia for my entire pole career because she's really
Iconic.
theatrical and yeah, she's an actor and she has this clown routine with a balloon and
Yes.
we actually need to link it because that was like
Yeah.
one of the most impactful shows for me still to this day. So I got to have a one-on-one meeting with her, just sort of planning out what my participation in the summit is going to look like, but then also how I can use the work that we do for the summit afterwards to continue like fueling my pole career forward and my online
Mm-hmm.
presence to continue to be
Mm.
like fruitful, I guess. And it was
Yes.
so inspiring to talk to her. And the thing that I love, because when she first sent it to us, she sent a contract. I'm linking it back together with the intellectual property, but she sends a
Yes. I
contract.
hope you better, because I'm lost.
Okay, good. Well, you probably would have received this contract as well, whether
Mm-hmm.
you've read it or not yet. But the contract is actually to protect the speakers, because it's really just to reiterate that whatever content you create or content that you offer through the Beginner Pole Dance Summit, you retain the intellectual rights and the intellectual
Mm-hmm.
property remains yours. Like it doesn't belong to Sergia and it doesn't belong to the summit, but she's using the
Mm-hmm.
summit as like a funnel for us to send our information or our skills or our passion into the pole dance community, and she's
Mm-hmm.
sharing the profits that come back through. And the meeting that I had with her the other day, we were talking about strategizing how to maximize the access to the potentially thousands of people who have been attending these summits over the years. And I just thought it's so generous of her
Mm-hmm.
because and she even said this, she's at this point in her career and in her life where she's got a kid now, she's got a family, she's still running her own business, but she feels she has a limited amount of time to pass on her skills and knowledge, so she wants to do
Mm.
that in as widespread and as effective a way as humanly possible. And so that's why she created this summit, and she's offering these opportunities to people like us, who want to contribute and want to reach all of the people that she's gathering for this. So I'm really excited about that. Because, yeah,
It is very
love her.
exciting. I'm like, I haven't really got to the whole thing yet, but I have the interview coming up with her as well, so I'm very excited to see what we can come up with and what we can bring for the new pole people as well. Beside that, I'm just gonna tell you, this bell from this church has been ringing, has been belling for the last 10 minutes while we're filming this. I'm just like,
I
I don't
can't
know if
hear
you
it
can
at
hear it.
all. No, I
Good,
can't
because
hear
it's
it at
been
all.
going. And apparently Malta is very known for their firework. They have firework every single day. This morning it started at 9 a.m.
Fireworks in the morning, but like,
Yeah, it would
can you
just it would
even
just
see them?
boom. No,
I
it's
always,
more like the sound. And then they finish at like 11 p.m. and just like, oh my god. But anyway,
oh, because we are the time difference right now. In Toronto, it's 10:37 a.m., but you're 6 hours ahead, so it's 4 to
yes.
37 p.m. Oh, okay, okay,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, because
Yes,
initially I was
that's
like,
that.
they start fireworks in the morning, but it's not morning for you.
Mm. No, 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 no.
uh,
But yes,
um,
so regarding to the intellectual property, I was actually having conversation with someone in camp, aka Dan Wilson. No, we were like just talking in group. Yeah, he's here. So
were you
finally,
guys? You
that's
guys are
exciting.
together in person?
Yeah, he was
I've
here.
never met him in person.
Oh really? Oh, he's
Okay.
lovely. Yeah, he was here as a
Is he the
student.
way he is online?
Nah, he's nice, way nicer in person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's all a
but yeah,
front.
so yeah, it's been a few years since I saw him again. So yeah, it was good time to yeah, good to see him. But yeah, so we were talking about like intellectual property and stuff regarding to like teaching and stuff. So one of the instructor that you will know is Isabella from Russia. So she actually come up with something really interesting. So she doesn't really post her routine online on social media. She only posts on story because in Russia, apparently people will still their choreo and then just teach it.
Hmm.
So that's why she doesn't really teach it unless it's like unless she doesn't really post it unless it's like from a show or whatever that she wants to post it. So then yeah then was step in and said that oh yes that's why he created this like a licensing. Oh, Jazzy K do as well licensing. If you want to teach that class, you can go ahead and purchase a license from them, and then you can just teach at your studio whatever you want. So that is like a really good way to protect your intellectual property, like your routine, your thing. But I think that only really applies to routine. It doesn't apply to again combos or tricks. That's just nonsense. Yeah, but I've been doing that as well, but not like in that big of a scale. But when studio will contact me, ask me to do like a guest choreographers and stuff like that, I will sell them the choreo, and then they can use it for how many turns that they want to use, something like that. So yeah.
Does your license have a time limit, or is it like a lifetime license?
Well, I have a 6 months because you don't want the studio to like repeat that over and over again because that comes from my design as well. When I do a collab and stuff like that, usually you will have a time limit. Will be like the first 6 months or for the first 1 year, and then after that they can continue. They can change color and then just continue to sell that. But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, that is still your design. So it really like a lot of time I'll be like, you know what, it's fine. I can't get paid more after this certain of time, but then I can create more stuff. I can just
Yeah.
sell more.
And
Yeah.
I think that's the thing about being a creative is on some level you actually are an you're a resource, but you are kind of an unlimited resource because you can keep
Mm,
creating new stuff and new stuff. But for people who are, maybe running a business and they don't have that creative spark, or maybe they're just dried up, they're burnt out, and they need outside stimulation, their resource has run out, so you got to buy it from other places. But
mm-hmm.
yeah, if you can keep up your creative stimulation and keep creating more and creating more, I think one thing that's really important as a creative person is not to get too possessive. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
when you have a romantic partner, if you're too jealous and possessive and you hold on to them too tight, they're going to break up with you. Not
Yep.
that your
Yep.
ideas can break up with you, but the community might want to break up with you if you are too holding on too tight and acting like that jealous,
Mm-hmm.
possessive partner. Uh, but with choreography, it's funny because I struggle with social media because I like my social media to be like a diary for myself. And I've mentioned
Yep.
this in the past where I know that at some point I need to use it more as a marketing tool and less as my own personal diary. But I fight against that because I'm like, well, fuck you. I want it to be my diary. I want to be able to easily access all the choreographies I've ever taught, all the tricks I've ever
Mm-hmm.
trained. And so there it is on Instagram, which I know is like me giving away my life's work for free. Uh,
Yeah.
but I've actually started posting clips of training and choreography on stories, not because I'm worried about people stealing my stuff, but because it just gets more visibility. And
Yeah.
I'm always really torn because for me I'm like, well, if people are barely watching my reels or my posts, what's the
Mm-hmm.
likelihood that I'm actually going to be able to sell or license my choreography? And like I said in the main episode, I have had it happen before where someone asked me permission to teach my choreography, and or in some instances they'd be like, I already have taught your choreography, look what we've done.
Yeah. I
And
know. I'm
we're
like,
like, okay,
cool,
I know it comes
cool.
from a place of
Here is a
enthusiasm.
PayPal link.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, actually, speaking of PayPal links, no, this is a segue. It's a WeTransfer. So I don't know if you use WeTransfer, but they have like a free membership where you can transfer large files. So if you have
Mm-hmm.
like large video files or music files or stuff like that that you need to send to somebody, the free account allows you to send something up to 2 gigs and the link's good for 7 days. But they've added a
Mm-hmm.
new feature where you can add a pay link where they have to pay before they download it. And I think
Oh, that's
that's
perfect for
WeTransfer keeping up
us
with
to
the
sell
times.
like yeah, to sell like
Yeah.
chorus and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, super, super useful. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the other thing as well, learning off of Instagram or like stealing people's stuff, of course it can happen. But part of what we offer as teachers, in addition to being creatives, uh, what we offer as teachers is the actual instruction. Because I know
Exactly.
I've done your dance classes before, and you talk about musicality and you talk about shutting your brain off and just do it. It's like you've learned
Yeah.
it, now don't think about it, just feel it.
Yeah.
uh, and those are the little nuggets of wisdom that you don't necessarily get just from watching somebody's video.
Exactly. So you can see people who copies your routine from online versus people who actually learn from your class. They get a completely different, like very different. Like you can see this person is like noticing that, they obviously because I told them the details, so they know what the detail is. And the people who learn from online, they're missing a lot of it. But if they're having fun, I guess that's fine. But like supporting local artists, I think that's what we need. Yeah.
Yeah, supporting local artists is really important. In terms of the transfer of intellectual property through teaching, you can really see it when a student has trained with a teacher for a prolonged period of time. You can start to see the style and you can see the spirit from the teacher live inside the student. This just got really
Mm-hmm.
like Karate Kid Miyagi. But I think that's the experience of is part of what students want to pay for, right? And so it's like if
Exactly.
I yeah, if I want to learn an Adam Lin choreo, I want to learn it from Adam Lin. I don't want to learn it
Mm.
from somebody else because there's something about the way that you do your choreography that somebody else is not going to teach.
Mm.
Or
Yeah, because I do take pride in my teaching because I have been to, like this week I've been student here, and then I'm just really appreciate all this instructor. They are allowing us to have fun instead of just like go go go, do this, train train train, be better. You know what I mean? Because I know a lot of them, not from here, but a lot of instructors are like that. But like if Paul is what makes it fun for me, why do I want to be stressed in the class? You know?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I mentioned in the main episode about Lennox doing like
Mm-hmm.
training with Felix Kane, and I remember him saying that he was just trying to absorb her essence, right? Which comes
Yes.
not just from taking her class, but just being around her. And I've done
Mm-hmm.
Felix's classes before, and she's so free. Like her warm up is literally whatever she feels like in the moment.
Yes, I
And
remember
so
that.
yeah, what she's teaching is not even something that you could write down on paper. It's something that
Yeah.
you have to experience. It's like an essence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. My brother asked his son, who's 9 years old, asked him if he's ever heard of the ship of Theseus, and I hadn't even heard of the ship of
The
Theseus, but
what?
the ship, like a
Okay.
boat,
Yep,
of
yep.
Theseus, and Theseus is like an ancient Greek king.
All right.
So the ship of Theseus is like a thought problem, and the problem is this: if you have a ship that sets sail for hundreds and hundreds of years, and over the years, parts need to be replaced. And if over the ship's lifetime, so many parts have been replaced that after 100 years or whatever, no single part from the original ship remains. Is it
Mm,
still the ship of
the
Theseus?
ship, yes.
Yeah, and it was this really interesting thought problem, and we were with my brother and his son reading some Wikipedia solutions to the problem and just some of the possible philosophies about it. But it all has to do with like the essence of the ship or
Mm-hmm.
the essence of the choreography. And the question is
Mm-hmm.
like, are you still learning the essence of the choreography if it's like from somebody else or if it's been passed on and on and on and on and on? Are you still
Mm,
capturing the essence? I don't know, it's just a
yeah.
thought problem, there's no real
No,
answer.
that is a actual things that I actually think of sometimes, and I can really relate that back to dance. Is like a lot of dance teacher, they will be like saying, I give you the choreo, but the choreo is not what we are here for. You know, it's you as a performer. That's what we are here for, and the choreo is just a tool, a vocabulary for you to express yourself. And
Yeah.
so yeah, like people tend to be like, they want to be like this person, so they go to the choreo class and they do all the choreo, but then at the end of the day, they still don't look like that person because they're not learning what that person is, or the style or the essence of them.
Yeah, I guess there's two ways you can look at it, because you could look at it like the choreography is the ship and we're trying to capture the essence of the choreography.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think what you've just described is that I'm the ship and the choreography is the parts, and I'm just putting these parts on my ship.
Yep.
But it's like
Mm-hmm.
whether I'm doing Adam Lin choreography or Felix Kane choreography, it's like these parts are being added to my ship.
Mm-hmm.
That's one way to look at it. Or it could be like your Adam Lin choreography is the ship, and all of these students come to take a ride on this ship.
Mm-hmm. That's
This is
that's
getting really
fair. Yeah.
philosophical.
Yeah, we love that. We love that. But yeah, like really, yeah, go take classes, but like know that there's more to just choreo. And like if you want to steal someone's choreo, it probably won't look like them because you're not getting the best part of them.
I think so far this conversation has really been geared from our perspective as artists and as creatives. But I think there's
Yeah.
another perspective to look at where some people literally just want to train. They just want to be a
Yeah.
student. They don't want to be professional. They don't want to be a performer. They don't want to be teachers. They just want to move their bodies around. And I think this is a
Mm-hmm.
really valid type of person to be. And I think
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the studios or the teachers who are like, hey, can I buy your choreography, or can I license your choreography, copy your choreography? It may be that they don't have that same sense of artistic integrity that drives us,
Yeah.
because they have a demographic they're catering to that's really just like, I want to do something enjoyable for the afternoon. And they don't have
Yeah.
any motives beyond just, I want to move for an hour. Give me something to move around with.
Yes.
And
That's
so I
fair.
think sometimes, like, because our creations and our art, it feels so personal to us that it
Mm-hmm.
feels like a personal offense if someone steals our stuff. But I think sometimes people are like, oh, this reminded me of another story about my brother. When my brother was a teenager, him and his friends, they were all mischievous, rebellious hooligans. And so one of our neighbors down the street had this huge trampoline in their backyard, and they wanted to play with it. So one day, they snuck into their backyard, stole the trampoline, took it into a field, played with it for a couple of hours, and then brought it back. And on the surface, yes, they absolutely were stealing.
Yeah.
But there's this other side of it where it's like, oh, they were actually kids who just wanted to play for a couple of hours and then they put it back. Like they didn't want to
Yeah.
keep it, they didn't want to destroy it. They just wanted to play with it, and then they were done
Yeah.
with it, and then that was it. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes, I mean, I'm sure, I don't even think the neighbors noticed.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's kind of a type of person that we have to remember exists, where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
weren't trying to
They
like
just
ruin
want to
my
have fun.
career. Yeah, they just wanted to
Yeah.
play for
Yeah.
a little bit, and then that was
Exactly.
it.
Yeah, I guess because it's because of the world we live in, like things are driven by money, and then we are relying on the money to do what we do. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
this
So
bloody
what
bell is going off again. Oh
it's
my God.
still going? I can't, like, literally can't hear it at all. Are you sure it's not
This
in your
main,
head?
no, this main clips is going to have the bell sound because it doesn't have voice isolation, but the
Right.
other one, the Zoom one,
Zoom.
has voice isolation, so we'll probably have to use that. So if you hear any bell sound, it's because of the church is churching.
I feel like I need to add bell sounds in just so people have
Please
context.
don't. My head hurts right now.
Okay, no. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so I think the point that you're making is that my brother and his friends should have left a donation when they borrowed our neighbor's trampoline.
Well, they don't have to if they asked. You know what I
Yeah, my
mean?
brother is
But
not
if
about
you
asking.
don't ask, I will probably put something, there for them.
Yeah.
Maybe a
Oh,
banana.
a banana. So they slip. A banana peel?
Yeah.
That's
Or
full
like
clown mode.
yeah, a hand of beers or whatever, you know.
What a manic
Okay.
conversation we just had here.
Oh, I think it's pretty good. Consider like, there's a lot going on. in our head, but we can still pull this off. So I'm very proud of ourselves, and I hope the audience learned something from the perspective of ours, and then hope you guys will understand why we are talking about this and why is this an issue in the community, you know?
Agreed. Thank you so much for
Mhm.
joining us, everybody. It's always a joy to chat with you, even when it's a stress to book it in. We're so appreciative
Stay
of your listenership.
hydrated.
Mm-hmm. Make sure to catch us. We pre-recorded our next 2 full episodes that are released on the 1st of the month, so they are so shiny and coherent,
Yes.
as opposed to our After Dark episodes, which are just absolute chaos. No, just kidding.
It's
They're
not
all
chaos.
chaos.
It's always like, it's chill. Yeah, that's the whole point of this. But yeah, we also have a donation link that if you want to donate us some bubble teas, link it down below. So check it out and then follow us on all our social, which is Spill the Bubble Tea Podcast.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. See ya.
Is it hot? Is it cold? What the tea? Spill the tea.